Evening, everyone. Welcome to the Council for Strategic Affairs monthly roundtable discussion. Just to be on record, today is Saturday, August 30th, 2025, and it is 10 a.m. Eastern Daytime. My name is Dr. Adityanjee, and I'm the President of Council for Strategic Affairs. Those of you who registered probably saw this flyer on True Karma that lists today's topic, which is trade, tariffs, and the plight of labor force. We have four distinguished panelists joining us in today's discussion. Mr. Sumeet Jain from Beijing, China, Mr. Ankush Bhandari from US, Mr. Tulsi Tawari, who is currently based in Hyderabad, India, and has worked in US, and Mr. Hirnmaya Pandya, who is president of Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh in India. Two of the panelists have joined. I'm not sure what's happening to the other two panelists, but we shall move on. A little bit about Council for Strategic Affairs. Council imparts education in the field of international relations. Council fosters discussion, dialogue, and debate on geopolitical issues. We encourage strategic studies in general to raise the level of awareness. CSA condemns terrorism in all forms worldwide. CSA aims to contribute towards world peace and prosperity. CSA encourages publication of articles on geopolitics. We are registered as a 501c3 organization with the Internal Revenue Service in the United States. We request our US-based audience to donate and support CSA. The link for donation is here and it's also on our website. So we do a monthly roundtable discussion. Usually it is on second Saturday. This month it is happening on the last Saturday. There's a monthly guest lecture by a domain expert every month. And that happened actually earlier on second Saturday by Ambassador Veena Sikri. There's a one-on-one interview feature called Strategically Speaking with Dr. Adityanjee. We organize symposia, meetings, and conferences. We also promote publication of articles. There's a summer internship program for college students, and there's a fellowship training program in strategic studies. CSA is registered as a 501c3 organization with the IRS in the United States. And again, we request our US-based audience to support and subscribe to CSA, donate through the channel, through the link. And this is Mr. Ankush Bhandari, who is based in New Jersey. He has a 24 years experience in IT industry. He's a thinker, intellectual, author, and is widely on the public media. Our second panelist is Mr. Sumeet Jain, who is a business consultant and management expert based in Beijing, China. Our third panelist is Mr. Tulsi Tawari, who is an innovator, an entrepreneur, a thinker, an author who has written a book called Shubh Labh Economics. He has worked extensively in the United States and is currently based in Hyderabad, India. Our last panelist, if he is able to join, is Mr. Hirnmaya Pandya, who is a very esteemed labor leader. He is the president of Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, the largest trade union worldwide. The topic today is tariff, trades, and the plight of labor force. Since April 2nd, 2025, the so-called Liberation Day, announced by the President of the United States, there has been a chaos in the international trading system. The protectionist tendency for unilaterally announced reciprocal tariffs has upended the system of international trade as previously managed by WTO and GATT. Economists are currently calculating impact on the GDP of major economies with these tariffs and essentially a trade war. and losses to the stock market and who gains or who loses, in that noise, there's hardly any serious talks about the plight of the workers, the job losses, the sectoral, washouts. So what is going to be the plight of labor force in various countries as a result of this upheaval in the global trading system? We hope to address some of these issues to balance what is happening because countries are mainly concerned about their economies rather than anything else. So we will proceed with whatever number of panelists we have right now, and I will invite our first distinguished panelist, Mr. Ankush Bhandari, to take the platform. Every panelist is supposed to be making a 5 minutes opening statement. And after that opening statement, there will be question and answer session that is going to be moderated by me. Rules that we do not want people to interrupt our panelists when they are speaking. If you have questions, send the questions through the chat room. All the questions are moderated. Please don't send very lengthy comments or monologues, almost a lecture in the chat room. Your questions need to be very precise, very specific, directed to a particular speaker. And we will appreciate that you follow these guidelines. I will pick up the questions from the chat room and address to the panelists. So without further ado, it is my honor and pleasure to invite Mr. Ankush Bhandari to give his opening statement.
Thank you, Adityanjee. It's always an honor to be a part of CSA. And today topic is very intriguing because tariffs has really it's a nuclear war on tariffs, right? So if everybody remembers here on April 2nd, 2025, which is called the Liberation Day in the history of US, President Trump announced US tariffs under the Act of Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930. President Trump said jobs in factories will come roaring back in our country, and you will see it already. We will supercharge our domestic industrial base. And the president said this following his January 7th statement, in which he has said, we will impose new tariffs so that the products on our stores will once again be stamped with the beautiful word, made in America. So now, after 6 months or 7 months since the tariffs war is going on, has it really impacted our manufacturing employment? How much it has impacted other employment? Because the main reason was for the manufacturing. Tariff, in fact, has harmed the overall labor market. The latest research from many institutions has shown that it has raised the prices, increased the production costs of the businesses, it has reduced the customer demands, and overall, it has led to the hiring slowdowns and mass layoffs. Despite, we also have seen a short-term growth in the jobs, but in only in the protected industries where tariffs has not been imposed. So the impact, or I will say the negative impact on the labor market is we have higher price and reduced demands. We have increased production cost and decreased product. We have jobs uncertainty and sectorial shift. Although we have also seen in US in the last couple of weeks, some reports have also shown that we have a little bit positive impact of because of these tariffs, because we are not right now, but in the long term by 2028 we will see the manufacturing job creation because factory needs time to build up. We have also seen the offsetting factors, like factories are now being forced, like Apple and many other are being forced that they should leave the offshore, and a part of it, if not fully, come back to our country based in America. But the overall, if you see economics of this of the tariffs war, is we have economic slowdown, we have inflation factors, we have limited benefits. So saying that our manufacturing sector will be boosted, we have, once the shelves will be filled up with made in America instead of made in China or made in India or made in Canada or some other country, is a distant dream, I can say. Because right now what because right now we have a lot mass layoffs, and the people are struggling to survive. That's the main important factor which we have seen so far in the job market right now, especially on the labor, because labor is nothing not that a person only manufacture. Even a software engineer is a labor. Even a mechanic who works on the cars and trucks it comes under the labor industry. So the so it's a very complex situation, and saying that who is a winner, who is the loser, is still naive to say on that. So that's my opening statement. Thank you. Adityanjee, you are muted.
Sorry about that. So thank you, Ankush Bhandari, for a very brief and succinct opening statement that actually sets us for the debate and discussion. Uh, as I said, that two of our panelists have not joined, so I'm not sure what is the issue. So I'm going to invite our other panelist, Mr. Tulsi Tawari, to take the platform.
Thank you, Adityanjee, and esteemed audience here. I want to make 6 points. Number one, about the US. With due respect to economist fraternity, confusion in economics has been so paramount that American economy has been declining for last 50 years, in my view. 70% prosperity of an average American in 1970s has come down to minus. And with this political decision of recent times, masses are going to be further hurt, as also confirmed by our earlier panelist. Coming to India, this has been a major disruption for India. And of course, the pain has to be taken and adjusted. And the country as a whole is aware right from top to bottom. Even the Prime Minister, Finance Minister, they are pursuing other countries to ease the pain of our people. But I do not want to concentrate right now on the short-term issues, rather the long-term. I see this also as an opportunity where India should be self-critic and figure out as to what to do next so that it is not dependent on anyone. And in a way, that opportunity is the main thing that we need to talk about. India could be thinking about how to make itself a nation which is future ready, in my view. India becoming future ready, alert, agile, developing itself. The 5 points I want to make here further. Let's talk first about the labor force. Now, labor force, basically the ground level worker represents the quality of economy eventually. It cannot remain stagnant. So the first lesson that India has to learn is that there has to be a dynamic continuing education system for all workers. There can be a spirit of national mission on this, that every worker has an opportunity to learn and grow continuously. Maybe 1 to 2 hours per week on a Friday or Saturday in every office and every factory of India. There should be continuing education taking place. Especially the multitasking ability of people so that they have a greater shock absorption, and also future ready aspects. These are the two elements for labor. Next is the business people. I think the business people, when they make money in India, they become complacent and they're not aware about interest in innovation. India has plenty of original thinking people within the organization, beyond the organization. It's time that Indian business people wake up and start taking use of them and create capital for nurturing new ideas, new innovation. That is a second correction India needs. One case study I want to share. I went to Belagavi in Karnataka, the second largest exporter from Karnataka after Bangalore. 6,000 entrepreneurs are there. Germany is the main connect. With the falling economy of Germany, Belagavi may suffer. But why is it that the venture capital from 6,000 entrepreneurs cannot sustain and create and nurture 60 new knowledge entrepreneurs every year? That's the question for business people. India needs to wake up. Business people need to wake up. The next, on the government level, there are 2 points I want to make. India is a rare country where 80% people are in unorganized sector. I prefer to call them self-organized, not unorganized. Unfortunately, the income falls in the 5,000 to 10,000 rupees per month. That is where India's major opportunity lies. That is where major growth possibilities exist. For last 75 years, no sincere effort has been made. No attention has been given due attention. As a result, there is a migration from rural area to cities. And today, you know, Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, they're all destroyed because of the slums and overpopulation, and villages are deserted. So the developing a mature domestic economy is the major role that government is failing to do, where 80% of the people could be brought in the level of 20,000 rupees an income. It's not impossible in the era of internet today. That is the one responsibility government has to do. The second one, the government has to pay attention. The international financial architecture has been skewed. It has been speculative. Ever since Milton Friedman wrote his paper on adjustment of the foreign currency in 1971, currency trade has been hijacked by gamblers. Today, $1,500 trillion currency trade takes place in the world every year, compared to $120 trillion of real GDP. So all the surplus money from anywhere and everywhere is actually going into speculation. It's high time India wants to take interest in the global affair. It should pay attention to correction in the foreign exchange, currency exchange value. What is the real value? From purchasing power parity, it is 19 rupees. From market, free floating market, it is 88 rupees. What is the real worth? It's a question. And India should find an appropriate answer through fixed rate conversion between the countries, so that this correction, the fair money in the Indian ethos, it is called Shubh Labh. And that's what correction government has to do. Finally, from global perspective, this course correction from India as an opportunity to look into that Indian consumptions are limited currently, maybe about 3-4 tons per capita per year. The world Western society has a consumption of 35-40 tons per capita. And the Finnish researchers have predicted that unless that consumption comes down to 8 tons per capita, there is no sustainability. Global warming continues. So here is an opportunity for India to wake up and create a new pathway where maybe non-material economy is focused more than the manufacturing alone. And when I say non-material economy, it is different from services sector. So instead of three sectors that generally economists talk about, there is a fourth sector needs to be focused, and that is non-material economy. So I submit my initial comments with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tawari. A very unique presentation, slightly different from the focus we are trying to give to the current tariffs, rather than focus on India's inherent weaknesses or strengths. So the focus in tariffs that have been imposed, a global trade war, and what's the impact on global economies. That is what we are discussing today. Let me see if there are any questions in the chat room. There are no questions in the chat room. So what I would do, I will ask question to Mr. Ankush Bhandari. Ankush Bhandari, you have mentioned that there is a lot of disruption, job losses, and things like that. But the current US administration is saying that they have gained a lot of external revenue from the tariffs. And they hope that they would be able to offset the US national debt using this quote unquote external revenue service. And I think in the month of July, they had probably $169 billion collected in tariffs. Do you think this kind of approach of collecting tariffs will be sustainable in the long-term basis? Ankush, you can come back on the camera.
Yeah. Adityanjee, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Adityanjee, I don't think it's also viable in the short term. The reason I can give you, like many job losses, hundreds and thousands of job losses has happened. You are earning from method or one way, and you are giving back in the second way. The people who have the job losses, they are getting unemployment benefits from the government. Maybe it's a short term or long term, it doesn't matter. You are earning $100 and you're giving away $60 or $70 or maybe more than $100. We don't know. So this imbalance in the short term is also not viable. In the long term, how it will work, it's hard to tell, because as per the reports, I can cite you, as per the reports from different think tanks, like they have estimated that even in 2018 and 19, when the US imposed tariffs on China on the manufacturing employment, they said that the National Association of Insurance Commissioners have also cited that the overall reduction in the employment was 2.7%. So if you calculate the number, it goes in thousands and thousands, right? So as per the estimate, the same is going to happen during this tariff war. If you lose the local labor market, how you are going to where you are going to use this money?
Okay.
That's an open question and nobody discussing on that. That's the question the US Senate should put in front of the administration. A Senate hearing should be held that, okay, the nuclear war started in April 2nd, Liberation Day. And now it's September. It's almost September, right?
Yeah.
In April, May, June, July, August, we have 5 months. How much they have gathered the money, how much they come in their shoppers, and how much they have given as a part to sustain the household in US. So that's my answer.
Okay. Now, I do see that one of the panelists, Mr. Hirnmaya Pandya, has been able to join. And I am going to offer the floor to Mr. Hirnmaya Pandya. I had already introduced him. He is a very esteemed labor leader in India. He is the president of Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, which is probably the largest largest actually labor organization in the world. So, Mr. Hirnmaya Pandya ji, kindly put your camera on, and this is the opportunity for you to make your opening statement for 5 minutes. Kindly come on the camera, Mr. Pandya. You are muted, sir. Hiranmay Pandya ji, you're muted.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible. Okay, now we see you. Welcome to our
Okay.
program.
Namaskar. And thank you very much for providing me the opportunity to be one of the panelists with the luminary panelists so far today. And thanks to the organizers and especially to Dr. Sab. Just with the opening remarks, I would like to say something few in a just quick moments, quick bulleted points. So it's a today's current affair about this trade and tariff also. So what I understand that the brothers and sisters, because United States today is increasingly running the tariffs as a weapon to protect their own industries. It's true for them, but what it really creates, it's in the global trade war. So this is it disturbs the total trade order at a global level also. It disturbs supply and value chains in sections, the livelihoods of the millions of workers. If I take the opportunity to talk about the workers also, especially in the export dependent industries, because they are specifically, if I name from the India also, workers in Tirpur, hosiery workers in Ludhiana, then leather workers in Agra, the UP states, and some of the seafood workers, those it is exporting that also in the Andhra Pradesh and Orissa also. This is some IT professionals also. There's also and in the farmers also. That is where. So all feel shock when orders shrink. This is wages may cut or jobs may vanish even also, because US firms and subsidiaries opening in India are forced to move. Because of this uncertainty, thousands more jobs in IT, R&D, BPO and manufacturing will may be lost if I so. This is not India's problem alone, as I to mean also. Workers in Bangladesh, maybe Vietnam, maybe Mexico, and Africa are also suffering this also. So earlier we were talking about the globalization, that is what is, but without stability of creates a race to the bottom, it is not possible. So workers everywhere we left insecure, dividend and vulnerable. Even also where I have visited the ILO and many times the delegate, even the ILO also. So where we were also taking up, and now even also said the even today the job creation and employment may be the human centric. So this is has to be considered in any way also. But this is not the topic, but to just sideline it. So, brothers and sisters, again, I would like to move to this also. This is a crisis reminds you that India cannot remain dependent on the West alone, even also. Neither for markets nor for the migration, even also, because then they have to move, they have to. So, the ultimate goal or maybe solutions for creating jobs at home, but that is what it is, and that will be what we have started. That is Atmanirbhar Bharat. That has to be started then. So, this will be there. So, partnerships without other Asian giants, maybe Japan, South Africa, even also South Korea and other nations. So this is what even also the BRICS conventions, which has been also right. So recently in the Brazil, also in the Brasilia city of Brazil, even also. Now they are moving ahead with the 6 more countries joining Egypt, Iran, and etc. also. So this is moving as a powerful success where they now global South can design the new pathways even also for the cooperation, reduce Western dependence, and create fairer opportunities for workers too. So just if I consider What I need is to worker create trade policy and guarantee social protections, because the workers need the social protections, the guarantee of jobs and income security too. Also, this is what we are. So, bond of tariff wars, if it is not to be considered directly with the workers, but also indirectly, is impact totally. Whatever the changes comes into the economy of any country or whatever it is, it directly or indirectly impacts to the workers and industries too. Also, so also strengthening the international labor solidarity even also. So because of an American workers too are not benefiting from this tariff battles even also, that I answer. The price of consumptions in Goma go the West. If it applies change and cut off together, workers must demand that trade policy. Even if I understood that India is also exporting some of the generic medicines to the US, even also, if the tariff has been goes to the general medicines to higher, so the cost will be going up to the US citizens for having the generic medicines too also, or otherwise the other solutions for getting that not so the 50% or 40% of those generic medicines may be to be export to the other countries instead of US. So that may creates even so not the crisis of the medicines too in the also. So this ultimately the effect. So finally, at this moment, I would start as a lesson that India must grow in a self-reliance, strength, and partnership. So all workers should do this. Maybe the BRICS, maybe the global South-South cooperations, or whatever it is, whatever it is. So that we have to go in a joint to joints and also. So thank you very much for the opening. I would like to submit this also.
Thank you, Mr.
Sir,
Pandya. It
President.
was a pleasure to listen to you talking about the plight of the workers internationally and maintaining ILO standards universally, and the impact of this trade war on the workers that has not been talked about. So we shall resume our discussion. And my next question actually is to Mr. Tulsi Tawari. Mr. Tawari, since 1948, we had Global Agreement on Trade and Tariffs, the GATT, which was replaced finally in 1990s by WTO. So we had an international rules-based order in which trading nations dealt with each other in a fair, balanced manner under the same rules and same norms. Now we have this situation of a trade war because of unilaterally announced tariffs without any rhyme or reason. Are we seeing end of WTO, Mr. Tawari? What are your comments on this?
WTO has definitely ended. There is no doubt on that. Point is that when you said that there was supposed to be a fair, that word fair was not so fair after all. You see, you make a plan of fairness on some parameters, and then you have a hidden approach of unfairness which overtakes all fairness. Now, what is that hidden unfairness? I like to draw your attention to, audience. The currency, the whole tariff thing is all about pricing after all, in terms of money, pricing. Now, when you convert a dollar into rupees today, it is 88 rupees. And the World Bank Organization and IMF has calculated the purchasing power parity as 19 rupees. The first question to economists is, which one is the real value? Because it affects what is to be imported or exported on the whole. So, speculation economy since 1970s has taken over the world to such an extent that currency trade, I mentioned earlier also, that gambling in currency is about $1,500 trillion per year, as opposed to the real GDP of 120. My point is that unless this major course correction takes place, all other kinds of fairness discussions are actually not so fair. So,
Thank you, Mr.
of
Tawari. You made your point well. WTO has ended. It was probably not fair, but what we have is not even, dot of any by any chance any fairness what is happening. We are in an open trade war globally, We are in a very fluid situation and it will stabilize on its own when the trade war is resolved. My next question goes to Mr. Ankush Bhandari. Ankush, in the first quarter in this year, US economy shrunk by 0.5%. And there was this apprehension that because of these tariffs, the second quarter also US economy will shrink. But surprisingly, US economy in second quarter grew by 3.6%.
Yes.
Now the apologists for the administration say, look what we said. We want to grow our economy and actually the tariffs are growing US economy. Do you have any counter to that?
That's a very good question, Adityanjee. So, see, president can't, with a stroke of pen, he can say anything, right? But building factories for whether for car, drugs, clean energy, semiconductor takes several years. They are showing that the economy is increased by 3.5%, which I also read in the newspaper. But we have still policy uncertainty. Businesses are unlikely to commit to an expensive multi-year manufacturing investment in the current policy environment. I think which you also agree, and most of the economists or most of the general common man in America also agree. Because we don't have any, we still have very unclear policy goals. We have incompetent execution. We have certain policy reversals and changes, and a very chaotic environment right now. So US producer, which I believe is US producer rely heavily on the imported intermediary goods. So wild swing in tariffs, they are hugely destabilizing. Right now, the economy has increased to 3.5%. Is my gut feeling is because we have stopped giving free dollars to the world. We put a stop on US aid. We put a stop on the billions of dollars we are giving to Ukraine. So these are couple. We fired thousands of people in the context of Dodge. I think these are the factors. Government saved money, and that saving of the money is shown as a projection of the growth. That's my presumption. I am not economist. That's as a common man, I think, because these things happen in the last couple of months, and it shows that okay, we have saved billions of dollars because we are not giving any US aid, we are not giving anything to the Ukraine, we are not because that saving is seen as a growth,
Okay.
which I think is a very short term.
You made your point, and I'm very, very pleased indeed that our fourth panelist, Mr. Sumeet Jain, has joined from Beijing. So I will give the platform to Mr. Sumeet Jain. I've already introduced him. He is based in Beijing. He's a business consultant and management expert, has been living in Beijing, China for last 14 years. So we want to hear from Mr. Sumeet Jain about his perspective on tariffs, trades, and the plight of workers. So Mr. Jain, kindly unmute yourself and kindly put your video on. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry for delay. Beijing connectivity is always an issue. Now, as far as this whole scenario is concerned, I've been talking to the think tanks in China also, some big businessmen. We see things a little bit differently. Let's see in totality, what the media is saying is not that important. What we see is that there is a cycle in this whole world. First, it was nationalism, if you say 1,000 years back. Then somebody brought an idea of colonization, then globalization. And now again, the cycle is getting completed and we are going back to nationalism. And that's exactly what we see in Donald Trump, in Mr. Putin, in Mr. Modi. And everybody is talking about Atmanirbhar America, Atmanirbhar Bharat, or Atmanirbhar China. And this is where the world is going to at the moment. Now, when we see what Donald Trump has been doing, let's take up. The media is saying he's gone mad, he's the crazy guy, he just gets up one morning and says something else and does something else. But he's a nationalist. We have to understand that, and he's doing exactly what any president who loves his country will do it. Modi ji is doing for his country, and Donald Trump is doing what is best for America. Now, his two bold commitments during the campaigning, we have to concentrate on those two. And if we separate those things, we'll come to know what he's doing. He said, I will dismantle the swamp. I will look after my country, and the swamp is not looking after the country's interest. I have to take them out. Second was I have to take out America from this endless wars, America or the world. Now, if you look at his record, what has he done? He's doing everything which is against the establishment, or you call it the deep state, or you call it the swamp. And secondly, he's also working on how to end these wars in all over the world. Yani ki peace agreements we can see already being signed with countries who've been fighting for 34, 35 years. Now comes what is happening. India and China. Tariffs have been, I am not concentrating on what he's doing on the whole world. Let's take India and China. First, he threatened China. Yeah, I'm going to put 250%, 500% tariff on you. What did China do? They also retaliated, but they started looking for a new market. That's exactly what the plan was. This is what we think, that Donald Trump is pressurizing China to have a friendship with India, so that his promise to close all the endless wars, it becomes a reality. Then he puts the tariffs on India also. What does India do? We start moving towards Russia and China also, because we can see that there's a synergy which can be created. So if you see what his plan is, let's not concentrate on he's a crazy guy. We see that he's just doing one thing. He's bringing China and India together. If these two powers, they start manufacturing, they start working together, it's going to be a benefit to the whole world. Endless wars will be resolved. And China has already given us the indication that they are ready to resolve the LSE issue, maybe declare it an international border, and start working together. And we are also seeing the commitment from their side. So we are also opening our country for their investments, for their companies to come in, work together with us. And for the first time, I've been living in China for 14 years. First time, I am now able to see make in India products in China, because China has allowed our products to be imported into China. So these are not small things. The flights are being opened, visas are being issued to the Chinese. So that means there is something bigger happening to them, apart from what the media is talking about. Now there is another issue of that you said. What about the the labor and all these issues which are coming up? Now, if you see in nationalism, the first thing is nation first. For this, my own citizens should be able to live a good life, have a good job, can do business themselves, and make money for themselves. This is what nationalism is. Globalization is ulta, where you don't look after yourself, but you look after the whole world. So globalization is a dead thing. Now everybody is moving towards nationalism. America has already declared H-1B visa is the biggest scam which could happen to America. That means they are now saying all these people are coming and they're taking up our jobs. They should go out. China, already they are telling all the foreigners, please leave the country. We do not need you. Whatever we wanted from you, we've already taken. India also is saying the same thing. All these illegals who are coming from I don't know which countries, they need to go back. We don't want them because they are eating our resources. So every country is doing the same thing. And this is exactly what is going to happen. You start training your people. Education systems are being revamped all over the world. China is doing it. India is doing it. America is already talking about even their education department. They have removed that we need to come at par with China or with India, the kind of education standards they have. So this is exactly what is going to happen. Everybody's going to talk about take care of your country, take care of your people, give them a good life, give them good opportunities, so that everybody can thrive. And instead of going for endless wars, let's all work together in making this world a beautiful place. And this is exactly what is happening. His two promises which he gave during the campaign, and you see the results which is happening right now. They're all matching. The only thing is geopolitics. It doesn't happen in these media rooms, because they like to create TRPs. They like to create all this as if the whole world is going to come to an end. But if you look at the deeper side, the only thing which is happening is everybody's now being able to take care of their country, their own people, and also bringing a better life. for their own countries, and everybody is thriving. If China and India can come together, who knows? Tomorrow, any other countries can come together also. That's my take. This is how we see things right now. Today, also, I was in a conference. I've just come back. It was also about what is the future of India and China working together. I've been advocating a word called Chindia. That China and India can work together for a bright future. And if India and China can come together, the whole world, we can move them on our fingers. So today also the conference was all about this, that if India and China both can come together, we can literally make the whole world follow us. And Modi ji already said yesterday, this is the century of Asia. And I think this is becoming right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumeet, for your broader comments on international relations and geopolitics, which is slightly different from the topic of today. So let's go into the discussion part. I am going to ask my next question to Mr. Tulsi Tawari once again. So far, we have focused on, what is the situation? What is the impact on US labor force? You have yourself talked about what Indian business houses should be doing to retrain Indian labor force. Sumit talked about China and what they are doing. We have actually not discussed about a global South, what's happening to the workers of the global South. And let me say the workers of Europe. Because what has happened with this tariff war, that United States and Europe that went in conjunction with everything, there is a divorce. There are tariffs on EU, and EU countries are also actually having problems with the US's unilateral policies. So question is, what is happening to the workers in the global South, and what is happening to workers in the Europe? You want to comment on that?
Yes, certainly. I think when somebody says, that globalization has ended, I totally disagree with that actually. Internet era has brought the whole world together and closer. What is being missed out is, when there is a material flow, we see import and export. And when there are people moving, we are not seeing that the maker of the material itself is moving in and out. So the world is actually moving greater towards more and more individuals traveling from one country to another. And today in India, you go to small towns and you will find, God knows, people from all over the world in smaller and smaller towns. So it's a both ways. However, because the Indian demography of the youth, everybody knows, is so large that there is a potential of supplying of that manpower world over, and that is the nature of the future globalization, where the individuals are moving. Forget about the material moving and all. Material movement actually has to be restricted, because that is where the global warming is coming from. So in my view, when you say that with respect to Europe and India, it is the India exporting more human talent outside. The only challenge for India right now is only one: how do we improve the quality of human talent within India? As I mentioned, there is a self-employed population of 80% in India, and their salaries are only right now 5 to 10,000 rupees, and that is where the focus has to go. That will solve India's problem, and that will also solve Europe's problem, in my
Thank
view.
you, Tulsi ji. My next question goes to Mr. Hirnmaya Pandya. And the question is, as far as Indian labor is concerned, we have always complained about non-tariff barriers placed on Indian industries and Indian workers. What are your views on these non-tariff barriers, and what would be the effect of the newly announced tariffs on this notion of non-tariff barriers in ILO?
Yes, thank you very much. Very interesting question too also. But as far as the labor force of India is concerned, as I mentioned earlier in the opening remarks too, also because the many workers are also in the export-oriented industries they are working. So on this tariff base of the whatever the countries, it will definitely impact on the workmanship as well as the mention about the loss of job or whatever it is, because that has to taken care. That is one. Secondly, that's a non-tariff even also. Then the when the workers are working even also, but the new technology is going to come and it has already come. So even also from the technology point of view, India is a very little bit far away. It's each and every worker is concerned. So industrialization 4.0 has been taken place. Industrialization 5.0 is knocking the door. And just we were talking about, there is not a topic, the artificial intelligence, which is also there. So which will also replace the human beings also. That is one of the another challenge too also. But for all these also, the main criteria which I feel it from the Indian point of view, that's the reskilling and upskilling of the workers is very important and necessary for this era even also. It is being done and it is being started in the India even also. That's for the, because the total workforce of the India is, out of that unorganized sectors workforce is 94% of the total workforce, which is the very highest quantum. And say about the figures, if you consider, it will be cross about 40 to 42 crores. So this is the highest one. But out of that, the many of the people now being taught and they are being taught for this new technology of the digitizations operations of this, and even also something like that, the basic way also. So for a simple example even also, just I would like to share with this, maybe coincidence with this also, like the earlier in the India, you just go to the any tea shop also, the on the roadside also, not in the restaurant even also too, uh, that's they may be charging a 10 rupees per cup, and they be taking into the cash money. But now after introducing of the UPI technology and so digitizations, transferring money also, they are operating their business with the QR code and the transferring money from that also. So that has been calculated and that has been increased and that has been shown into the economy of the country even also. But this is the another area we have to understand, that has been upskilling for them also. This is what. So in India also there are the lot of self-employed workers too also. So today even also in the ILO, we were talking about the gig platform workers, the even also the this way also, but this unorganized workers, we have to talk to about them also. And then the protect them is the two necessary areas. One is that the security of job, that is also, but simultaneously upskilling and reskilling of their capabilities and capacity building programs to be conducted, that is second. And third, to protect with them also the social security and the health insurance, which is most important to believe is. So this is what. And the one more thing, just because we in Asia has started that. Recently I had visited to the Japan, that is international expo even also. We had a joint visit of the industrial forum and trade union forum. That was a joint visit. With this also, the new city, I mean the new world, how can be projected, that has been in that way also. This the what could be the workers area of work and what could be the area of. So this is the new terminology come, that is responsible business conduct, RBC, which is known. So that will be beneficial to the industries as well as to the workers too. So I think we should be having that path will be a better way, with having the dignified job and decent wages too. That's true. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Pandya. I am reading a question from one of our audience members, Dr. Pusarla, and I'll take the second part of the question and I'll address it to Mr. Ankush Bhandari. Sumeet Jain did talk about, India also trying to expel illegal immigrants and all. Question is, should we be making parallels between skilled migration versus illegal, demographic invasion and illegal migration? Because the way Mr. Jain talked about, they were lumped together. There is a need for making a distinction between skilled migration, migration of professionals, migration of trained skilled workers based on international treaties versus illegal migration. What are your views on that, Mr. Bhandari?
Yeah, that's very good question. And I will say exactly America. The countries are built on the skilled labors only. If you see India, who is who is the manufacturing hub till 17th century, right? China is now. It was time when America was there between Second World War till 1990s because of the skilled labor. And the skilled labor is doesn't come from America. It was imported from all over the world. Financial sector in New York, when I was working in New York in the early 2000, it was all by Jewish. And Jewish are not born here. They were imported. Who built up the NASA? It was the scientists from the Second World War. Exactly, we need to understand, like that's why we say white collar job, blue collar job, right? We need to understand and make a clear definition and a clear line that yes, we need the skilled labor and only highly specific skilled labor, which is the need of hour. Not everybody. Yeah, he's also skilled, but we don't need him. Whatever is required at this moment, that should be imported, and I vote for that. And illegals who are just crossing any country, like if you see an illegal just ran in Florida and killed people, right? He was from India. So any illegal and from any part of the world should be shown the door back to his country with respect and dignity, and they should also accept that. That's my answer, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bhandari. My next question will go to Mr. Sumeet Jain. World Trade Organization is dead. Everyone has written the obituary. There is an active trade war going on. Do you envisage a possibility of a new global trading system excluding Fortress America? We can't hear you, sir. We can't hear you. Mr. Jain, we can't hear you. You are muted.
I think he put off his headphone and we can't hear. He has still over there in the.
No, we are not able to hear you, Sumeet. Say again. Very faint voice. I think you are having bandwidth problem probably. Sorry, we can't hear you. So I will address the question maybe to Mr. Tawari. Mr. Tawari?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So the same question, are we looking at a possibility of a global trading system since Fortress America?
I personally see this phenomenon of US tariff, and because of that, US suddenly looking in a kind of an enemy camp for India as a temporary phenomenon. It is going to be over in due course of time. And people
Mr.
to people
Tawari, we are
contact.
not talking about US versus India. I asked a very generic question. Are we seeing end of global trading system and emergence of a new global trading system without United States? It's all other countries that I'm talking about, not US versus India.
No. I am not answering US versus India. I'm trying to answer the question that you asked me. My answer is this, that isolation of USA is not going to be happening. That is my first answer when you are saying that it is going to be isolated. Because USA is a dominant country, and just because one leader comes and he takes some decisions and the whole country is going to be disconnected is never going to happen. In a matter of course of time, all that correction will take place and it will happen. But because of this action, yes, there is going to be increasing interaction among rest of the world that is accelerating. To me, to me, if I can sum up, the future is a very, very bright. You forget about the initial, this transition phase of merger, of coming together. Let me give you an analogy, the way I look at it from your question. Imagine an ocean which is divided among nations, and nations are partitioned by some sort of a partition, and they were isolated from each other. The internet era is more like, lifting of that partition gradually, and the water flowing from one part of the nation to another part, and eventually the whole world interacting the same way, the way within a nation different states are acting. This is the future that I see in matter of 10 to 15 years. And all this pain of coming together is causing all this trauma, which will be over in due course of time, because the new leaderships are going to rise. This is the way I look at the new world.
Thank you, Mr. Tawari. Sumeet, Jain, let's see if we can hear you. No, we still cannot hear you. We still cannot hear you. No, your voice is not coming. So
Your voice is coming now. Is
okay,
my voice
now we
coming?
can hear you. Now we can hear you.
The world is all, there's some issue. I told you before, the world is going towards world -1. Before was China +1. Now the world is already made up their mind. It has to be world -1. And we all know what is 1 - 1. When somebody says that America cannot be removed, this unipolar world is not going to remain forever. When you say whether the world is going to work according to WTO rules, nobody's agreeing to what WTO is saying. Everybody's creating their own, associations, on friendly shoring, what you can give to me, what I can give to you. It is not according to what one country wants, and then the whole trade in the whole world has to be in their currency and in their terms and conditions. The whole world is sick of it. The world is moving away. That's why this nationalism comes in. And when somebody says that I do not agree that globalization is going to die, nobody is saying globalization is dying. What I'm saying is going to be friendly globalization, wherein I give something which other one person needs, and they give me what they can provide. This includes not only trade, it includes people also. You need people. Now Japan is asking for human talent. India is providing them. Taiwan asked for it. Israel wants our people. Russia wants our people because we have the talent. So it's all going to be friendly shoring, both for human beings, both for trade, and it's not going to be USA plus the world. It is going to be world minus USA, wherein everybody takes care of their interests, their own associations. Like you rightly said, nobody mentioned about global south. What did Modi ji said when he went to Japan? Very simple. We offer you, we are the springboard for growth for anybody. You remain with us, you will be safe. हमारे साथ रहोगे, ऐश करोगे, वरना crash करोगे. That is the kind of message which Modi ji has given in Japan, wherein start working with us. Let's work together. We have 2.8 billion people, including India and global south, and this is a huge market which is parallel to WTO, which is parallel to anything else, and that is where the world is going towards.
Thank you very much indeed. We have run out of time. My heartfelt thanks to Mr. Ankush Bhandari, Mr. Sumeet Jain, Mr. Tulsi Tawari, and Mr. Hirnmaya Pandya, who are all, giants in their fields and enlightened us today, taking some time off from their busy schedules. I am thankful to them from the bottom of my heart. My heartful thanks to our audience members on a Saturday, spending an hour plus on a very dry topic. So thank you all the audience members. And finally, I must thank Team CSA. Team CSA, there are a couple of individuals who helped me run these programs, Mr. Rajiv Verma and Mr. Ripudaman Pachori. They never come on camera. They are always working behind the scenes, making these kind of intellectual discourses possible. I am very, very proud of them, and I am proud of the discussion that happened today, that we are not just talking about ourselves, we are talking about a neglected section of the society, which is the labor force. And the idea was to put that labor force on the agenda today in We talk about countries, we talk about economies, we talk about leaders, but we don't talk about the labor force. So that was the attempt today to highlight the plight of the labor force because of international, geopolitical, and geo-economic manipulations. Thank you very much indeed to all our panelists, and thank you to the audience. And with this, we are closing this session. Always a pleasure.
Thank you too. Thank you very much.